Let me introduce our first speaker for the night, a man that most of you know. He is the Dean of the Sauder School of Business, has been since 1999. We're lucky that he's just beginning his second 6-year term in that role. He has led the team that has put the Sauder School into the top 5% of business schools worldwide. He's been a huge supporter of the Business Family Center. He's a phenomenal visionary, fundraiser, entrepreneur. He's currently serving as the chair of the Vancouver Board of Trade, and he's the only dean of a business school that I know that used to be a rocket scientist. True story. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Musica.
As many of you know, business families really are a cornerstone to the economy in Canada and economies around the world. There are 1 million firms in Canada that are family-owned operations, and they account for over 80% of the businesses in the country. What's more surprising is that over the next 15 years, 3/4 of family business leaders will retire, initiating the largest asset transfer in Canadian economic history. That's pretty profound. Europe, similarly, is going through an equal economic transition and is the first time that in 350 years, Europe will be going through such a transformation or transition without a war, interestingly. However, studies show that over 75% of families have no succession plan in place. In order to thrive amidst the forthcoming period of transition, today's business families will require new tools, new sources of knowledge, and new strategies in order to effectively assume the awesome responsibilities in front of them. That's where the Business Family Center at the Sauder School comes into play. We're there to provide that kind of crucial support. Our world-class center is home to leading research, educational opportunities, and academic leadership. It's embarked on an ambitious fundraising campaign to grow the scope of the center's activities and to ensure that business families are provided with the leading-edge knowledge, information, perspectives that are going to help them through this transition. Funds raised will support the activities in 3 areas: academic, research, and programs. I look forward to the future growth of the center. It has been phenomenal.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be more of a conversation, and we're going to invite you to share in an informal exchange amongst old friends. You know, Ted, I was looking at the invitation and the tremendous growth that you have had as an entrepreneur, and how proud I am to be your friend. And you know, you built something that we're all proud of as a Canadian. And I must tell you that your dad must be very proud of you today.
Yeah.
And seeing that we're talking about your dad, I'm going to bring you back 30 years ago when I visited you in your home in Toronto, and you shared with me many of the samples of the news bulletins about his life that you had them plastified, even
Right.
at that time. So he's had a tremendous influence in your life, and I wonder if we could start off this evening by saying, how has his legacy influenced your own life?
Well, I thank you for that, and I think like so many here, and people across Canada, particularly those that comes from other countries and so on, they come and they have a great wish to make their parents proud. And they work terribly hard to fulfill dreams that maybe the parents, because of a short life or whatever the occasion, could not do. And in my case, my father's death at 38, there wasn't really life insurance and so on, and those assets were gone. And my mother said to me at age 8, it's your job to get the family's name back in the communications. And so that's always driven me. And I think that so many people are driven for emotional and family reasons rather than financial reasons.
You know, Ted, you lost your dad when you were very young. And yet I remember you talking about your stepfather, who seemed to play the role of mentor to you. And we know in family business how important mentoring is.
I was extraordinarily fortunate to have John as my second father, and his wisdom and his just his tremendous interest in people. He was interested in almost everything. He was a great lawyer. He was a great father. He was active in the church, in the military. He's a great, he did well at everything. But he was a man that I'm a very excitable fellow, so I would come in and say, we're going to get those guys. And he would say very nicely, well, how? And so John was the voice of moderation. When I go to work in the morning, I really thank my God that he allowed me to live long enough to have these two in the business. It's just a tremendous thing. It really is. By noon, and when I'm driving home at night at 8 o'clock, I say, thank God the other two aren't here. I just want to thank all of those who made it possible. It's a wonderful organization that you have here, and I'm deeply, deeply honored to be part of it tonight. Thank you, and God bless.
Delighted to have you. Thank you, Ken.